Maya stood by the kitchen counter, slicing lemons for a pitcher of iced tea. The laughter of children echoed from the backyard as her son and niece played tag. Her husband, Raj, was at work, and her brother-in-law, Adil, had stopped by to drop off some tools. The sun cast warm beams through the sheer curtains, but inside, a storm brewed. Adil leaned against the doorframe, watching her with an intensity that sent a chill up her spine. Maya tried to ignore it, focusing instead on the knife in her hand. "You've been avoiding me," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. She froze, her hands tightening around the handle of the knife. "I don't know what you're talking about," she replied, forcing a lightness into her tone that felt foreign even to her own ears. "You do," he insisted, stepping closer. His presence was suffocating, his words pulling her into a memory she'd been desperately trying to suppress. It had started innocently enough, a shared glance, a fleeting touch. Raj and Adil were close, and the two families spent countless weekends together. Adil was charming, charismatic, and had a way of making everyone around him feel special. Maya wasn't immune to his charm, though she never thought much of it. After all, he was family. But one evening, a power outage during a family barbecue changed everything. The kids had fallen asleep, and the adults sat around a flickering candlelight, sharing stories. Adil had told a joke that made Maya laugh so hard tears spilled down her cheeks. He had looked at her then, not with the casual affection of a brother-in-law, but with something deeper, something forbidden. That night, as she cleared dishes in the kitchen, Adil had followed her. Their conversation started harmlessly but quickly veered into dangerous territory. He confessed that he felt a connection with her, something he couldn't explain. Maya had laughed it off, brushing it aside, but the seed was planted. "Maya, look at me," Adil said now, his voice pulling her back to the present. She turned to face him, her expression guarded. "This has to stop," she said firmly, though her heart raced. "It's not that simple," he replied, taking another step closer. "You feel it too. Don't pretend you don't." "I don't," she lied. "And even if I did, it doesn't matter. I love Raj." Adil sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'm not asking you to stop loving him. I'm just asking you to admit that there's something here." The room felt unbearably small. Maya wanted to scream, to tell him to leave, but part of her couldn't. There was a pull between them, magnetic and undeniable, but it was also destructive. A knock at the door shattered the tension. Maya's heart leapt into her throat as she wiped her hands on a dish towel. Adil stepped back, his expression unreadable. Raj's voice boomed from the hallway. "Hey Adil, what are you doing here?" "Just dropping off the tools you needed," Adil replied casually, slipping back into his role as the affable brother. Maya pasted on a smile as Raj entered the kitchen, kissing her on the cheek. She felt Adil's eyes on her, a silent reminder of the secret they shared. Weeks turned into months, and the tension between Maya and Adil grew. They never crossed the line, but the emotional affair was undeniable. Every glance, every accidental touch, every word spoken in double entendre felt like a betrayal to Raj. Maya started avoiding family gatherings, making excuses to stay home. Raj noticed her withdrawal but chalked it up to stress. Adil, meanwhile, began dating someone new, a woman named Priya. Maya felt a pang of jealousy she couldn't explain, but it also brought a sense of relief. Maybe, she thought, this would end their dangerous connection. But it didn't. Adil still found ways to see her alone, still looked at her like she was the only person in the room. And Maya, despite her best efforts, couldn't stop herself from feeling the same way. It all came to a head one rainy afternoon. Raj was out of town for work, and Adil stopped by unannounced. Maya tried to send him away, but he insisted he just wanted to talk. "Why can't we let this go?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "We're ruining everything." "Because it's real," Adil replied. "And real things don't just go away." Maya shook her head, her resolve breaking. "You need to leave," she said, her voice trembling. "Hurry up before Raj comes back." Adil stared at her for a long moment before nodding. "I'll go," he said. "But this isn't over." As the door closed behind him, Maya sank to the floor, sobbing. She didn't know how to fix what had been broken, or if it was even possible. All she knew was that the secrets she carried were a weight too heavy to bear.